Today on Growing Idaho, we are talking about, unsurprisingly, growth. It's a big topic around your dinner table on this show and down at the Idaho Statehouse. It's at the heart of a lot of the budget decisions that will be made this year. Governor Brad Little laid out his proposed budget in the State of the State address to start the legislative session. Legislators will debate and pass their own version of the state budget, but they are all on the same page already that something has to be done to ease Idaho's growing pains.
Idaho's record population growth and in-migration comes with both opportunities and challenges.
One of the biggest challenges, rising property taxes.
Our budget this year includes up to $150 million in new property tax relief, on top of the hundreds of millions of property tax we've already deployed to date.
That property tax relief has come in the form of the homeowner's tax exemption, tax relief paid for with the budget surplus, and increased school facility funding from the state. The idea is that with the state paying more of the school facility bills, there's less of a demand on your local taxes for that. Speaker of the House Mike Moyle agrees with the concept, but he has concerns. He's worried that the $2 billion over 10 years the governor wants to spend on building schools could have the opposite effect and actually increase property taxes.
We've got to make sure that we don't allow this to be a mechanism or excuse to raise property taxes, right? To go to the voter and say, well, the state built the building, we need more supplementals, or the state did this, so we need more. Sometimes you see that happening. You saw that last year with the property tax bill, right? We cut $317 million property taxes. At the same time, not the schools, but just the local governments was almost $80 million increase.
It needs to be pointed out that total tax revenue going up doesn't necessarily mean your tax bill went up. That's because with the population growing, more people are putting tax money into the same pot. There's also a local budget cap of 3%. Regardless, lots of folks are still seeing their tax bills go up. The other big growing pain the governor wants to address, transportation.
We all know the high rate of speed that the state of Idaho is growing, and one of the worst things you can do is get behind on your transportations.
The governor wants to spend another $200 million to finish fixing dilapidated bridges in the state. He also wants to pump $50 million into the Transportation Expansion and Congestion Mitigation Program to bond for another $800 million for new transportation infrastructure. House Minority Leader Ilana Rubel very much in favor of spending more on infrastructure, but wants to make sure credit is given where it's already due. She points out that, according to the White House, since the bipartisan infrastructure law passed, about $1.6 billion in federal, not state money, has been announced for transportation projects in Idaho.
All of that was federal money. That was all due to things like the Federal Infrastructure Act. And then he turns around in the same breath and bashes how terrible and irresponsible the federal government is. They seem pretty unhappy to get that money here, and that federal money is really why we have been able to do anything in terms of repairing infrastructure.
So again, the legislative session is really largely a budget battle, and we'll be covering that battle on all of our shows for the next few months right here on Idaho's News Channel 7. Maggie?